All right, hi everyone, we are back and the test match is on day 3 right now. Day 3 is finished and day 4 and 5 are left. Anything is possible. One thing is for sure, we're not talking about who's going to win, we're talking about thunderstorms, and the way the thunderstorms come in Brisbane, you haven't seen anywhere unless you live in some very northern plains of Bangalore or Delhi or Mumbai or Sydney or Melbourne, because the way thunderstorm came on the second day was just amazing. Like suddenly there was like nothing and all of a sudden it was just like everything was drenched. Literally, and then suddenly all the water was gone also. And then for some reason the umpire said, "Oh, we don't want to be here." And then Tim Payne was very pained. He looked very pained. He was like, "Oh, what the hell is this thing?" But okay, let's talk about a couple of things to start with. One is, I'm not sure a lot of people might have missed this thing, but Prithvi was actually on the field after all the drama. After everybody was injured, he still didn't get picked, but he was still on the field because people still got injured. I think Sani was injured at one time. Even Shardul Thakur had to go out as well. So he was on field, and then he tried to, you can find the footage on YouTube, he tried to injure Rohit Sharma by throwing the ball at him instead of the stumps, and Rohit Sharma was like, what the fuck? But then the commentator was saying Rohit Sharma did not deliberately show a lot of grief and did not scold him because he knows it's on camera, so it'll look good, it'll look bad. Otherwise Rohit Sharma would have, if this is not on camera, Rohit Sharma would have like thrown the ball back at him. It's like, you fat ass. It's like, stop throwing ball at me. So what I was telling you earlier, Bikram, that, and just to tell everybody, that this would have been the first instance if Rohit Sharma had actually gotten injured and got concussed, and then Prithvi would have had to bat, because it will be like for like, opener for opener. And it would be the first time when the concussed person is actually being concussed by the person who is the concussion sub. It would have created a world record, not even in cricket, but entire history of everything. It's like, you beat the guy up, it's like, oh, he's concussed now, we have to come in. And when that did not work, then Prithvi tried to, make Thakur drop a catch, and he ran in his way. He ran in his way, and then Thakur still somehow managed to catch it, and Thakur was like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? I think they finally got rid of Prithvi from the field before he actually ends up dropping a catch and then making India lose the match. So that was something. Now that we're talking about, we haven't discussed this before, but I'm pretty sure you must have, if you're following, then you must have seen the whole controversy, or not the controversy, but a lot of heat that Rohit Sharma has got for the shot he got out on. So just to not, cloud your opinion on this thing, I will just ask you, what is your opinion and what have you thought about Rohit Sharma's shot? And he's got a lot of criticism, particularly from Sunil Gavaskar in general. People like, why did you play that shot? You shouldn't have played that shot. And Rohit Sharma has come out and said, well, that's the kind of shot I play, and I'm going to continue to play, and I will back myself. Nathan Lyon is just a smart bowler. He bowled me that, and I would have just, gone for it. And I just feel it did not come out of nowhere. That's how I play. I try to dominate. Once I'm in, I try to dominate the bowlers, and that's what I was doing. So what? You don't have to go on either camp, but you can just give me your opinion, and I'll give you my opinion after.
Yeah, I think it was highly irresponsible, because see, it's okay, playing that shot, that's how he plays, that's his strength, that's all fine. But how can you play a shot when a fielder is there? He played a lofted shot, and the fielder was just there, placed for that lofted shot. He obviously miscued it, and then Stark had to run in a bit. If he had timed it well, it would have either gone for 6, or it would have just fallen into Stark's hand. He wouldn't have to move anywhere. So I think that was just considering, how inexperienced the batting lineup is right now, and he was playing well, scoring runs. I thought that was an irresponsible shot. So that's...
All right. Now, two ways to look at it. First of all, the whole reason people are scoring runs, for example, Pant scored 97 last time, and the way he was scoring runs, one of the reasons people score runs is because they hit shots. Okay. Otherwise, they just score 8 runs off 50 deliveries, just the way... because I'm just saying, what is the difference between him and he scored... I don't have the scoreboard open, but he scored around 40 odd, right? And then Pujara scored around 20 something, and he took 16 million balls to get there, and then he gets on a defensive shot. A guy gets on a defensive shot 5th time straight, and that people don't have to complain about, but people are complaining specifically about his shot. And when the same shot, if you watch the match, I just watched the highlights, Agarwal played the exact same shot with the exact same fielder there, and he clears the field and goes for a 6. All the commentators, wow, what a shot, he took him on, he was he knew what he was doing. So I'm just saying, is it about the result or is it about the process? Because fundamentally, I'm not going to be one person saying that. I'm saying that when Rohit Sharma is coming out saying this is how I play, and I know this is how he plays, and he backs himself. For example, one time commentator said that, okay, he has gone down and he's seen when Nathan Lyon has actually pulled his length back and bowled more into his body, so he's a bit cramped up, so he can't actually free his arms, so he can pull out of the shot. Okay, now I have played cricket. The problem with that thing is that when you go out with a mindset, when you're coming down and you're like, I'm gonna whack it, and if you have to have another switch in your mind, plan B, that if he bowls, like if the bowler changes the plan, then I'm not going to go for the hit. So if you have the plan B in plan, that means when you go out, you never go all out. So if you go all out, then you don't do plan B. And when you don't have a plan B, then it's more likely if you get the ball connected, it will end up going. But if you have a plan B, then even if you connect it, you can still get caught at the long on, because you were never going all out in the first place. So that theory that, he could have changed his mind, which is correct. But at the same time, when somebody goes all out, and that's why when Mahendra Singh Dhoni, some players, they just even miss-hit things, they still end up going, because they're going all out. They're like, okay, I don't have a plan B. Even I'm not going to pull out, because if you're pulling out, you can't decide to pull out. You have to already decide before that I'm watchful of the ball. That means you're not going with entire thrust of your body. So he went out, he missed the shot, because my point is that, Bikram, I'm not disagreeing with you, and that's just an opinion. My point is this thing, that if he had hit a 6, all the motherfuckers would not have said anything, and they said he took him on, he pulled him out of his line, and Nathan Lyon is not letting Nathan Lyon to get set in, and that's the way it was.
That I agree.
But he went for a shot.
And that happens a lot with Pant. When he scores run, people are like, oh, he's such a great batsman, and when he fails playing the exact same shot, people complain about it. So it's the criticism should be fair, right? It should be fair that, okay, he plays like that, but then you have to also see that if his play style is like that, and if you are criticizing for his play style, then when he scores runs because of that play style, you cannot go out and say now he's a good batsman. As you said, result and process. So result shouldn't matter, the process should matter. And I really agree that he's talking about Rohit Sharma, that the way he's playing, that's the way he should be playing, because that's the way he plays in the limited overs as well, and that's the way he scores his runs. So I don't see any problem in that. But I think could have picked a better area, because as I said, the fielder was already there. And coming back to Mayank Agarwal, I think that shot was also very irresponsible, and ultimately he also got out.
Oh, so you've seen the shot, so you know what I'm talking about. Which went for 6.
I saw the shot. So I will still criticize Mayank Agarwal, because see, this was a good wicket, and eventually if you see what happened with Washington Sundar and Thakur, they were able to play. I don't think they hardly gave any chances. I know Payne missed a catch of Washington Sundar.
Of Starker.
But he already had scored 40 plus by that time. So
correct.
So if they can bat newcomers and playing for the first time in Australia, and if they can bat sensibly, so the top order as well. Because as I'm saying again and again, that bowling wise we have so many injuries, but batting we are almost the same team, barring Rohit Sharma, right? Virat Kohli. Everyone else is there, and time and again this is happening. Third test also, first innings we didn't score many runs, and that's why we were always on the back foot. This innings also we would have got bowled out at 200, 210 if these two players wouldn't have scored. So okay, so we're going ahead of ourselves, but yeah, just going back to Rohit Sharma, I think in my opinion it was irresponsible taking that much risk.
All right, fair enough. So again, I'll just finish on that. The fact is that what happens is when both of the players are not scoring runs, it just puts a lot of pressure on the batting team. And he said the pitch was good. He said, I can take it on, I'll be fine. Because Cheteshwar Pujara is on the other side, who is literally not scoring. And as you know, I just opened the scorecard. He scored 25 of 94 deliveries and gets out on a defensive shot for the 5th time straight. He is not a villain, but Rohit Sharma is somehow a villain who makes 44 of 74 deliveries, and because somebody has to dominate, and he's not a rookie player. This guy is a superstar. He's just one of the, as you said clearly, that one of the reasons he's not succeeded in test matches is because he tried to change his style. Now when he doesn't change his style, he gets criticized. So somehow as a batsman, he doesn't know what to play. He can't come out and play like, oh, I'm going to defend and everything, and I'm going to be like, I'll start respecting. No, I am Rohit Sharma. I'm the person who made 3 double centuries in one day international. I set the standard, so I'm going to take them on and I'm going to take my chances. Sometimes it's not going to work. I understand where you're coming from, because I just feel like at the end of the day, he just feels like right now, I think offline I told you that right now Rohit Sharma is not coming in. He doesn't have to worry about his position.
Yeah.
Those times have already passed because that time he used to be very worried that if he doesn't score, he'll get kicked out or other thing. Now, if he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
First of all, he's not going to get kicked out. Other thing is like, he really doesn't give a shit anymore. He's like, okay, I'm already 33. I like eating a lot of food. I'm going to be superstar anyway and my IPL team keeps winning. So he's got nothing to prove right now. It's just already too late for test matches for him. So he's just going out a bit more bindas attitude. I think he's not going to change. And I at least felt that he wasn't being arrogant when he said, this is how I play. He just said like, I don't know. I'm going to be too confused if I start playing.
Correct.
Like if I start thinking too many times. So just kind of for him, it works. He said, let me score. And people can complain that I'm not created centuries in the last. But the fact that I actually made runs because you had Prithvi or some shit players, they didn't make any runs. Sorry, Mayank is not shit, but Mayank did not make any runs. So that's a reality. So you want somebody making 0, 0, 1, 4, 5, or you want somebody to get 50, 44, 38 and then get out. So I just feel he's been fine.
Yeah.
Criticism, what you can say that he was irresponsible, but when you go out and write a whole article about how shit Rohit Sharma is, then you're crossing the line. Then I feel like, come on, back off. Back off.
Correct.
Because if you read what Sunil Gavaskar says, is like he starts his like tweet like why? I was like, Sunil, you're 75. just back off. You're gonna get a heart attack at the end of this tweet. Okay, you just have to be lucky that because it's Rohit Sharma and you're Sunil Gavaskar, they're not gonna troll you. Otherwise, you would have been destroyed. Okay, so enough of that, and then let's move on to. Okay, one thing I want to ask you. I just had a feeling that it wasn't like when Ashwin and Vihari played. See, Vihari knows how to play, and the pitch was certain condition, and then Ashwin, they were playing to draw the match. They were not trying to play any shots, and sometimes you can really blunt bowlers. If it was the last day, it can get really difficult. And I'm not taking any credit for them away from them. They were amazing. But the fact when Sundar and Thakur were playing, there was one stark difference that. I swear to God, I have never, this is a statement I'm making, it's a big statement, but tell me if you have a different feeling. I have never seen an Indian seamer play like better than Thakur ever in my life. Like this guy felt like a genuine batsman because when he was playing shots, he was not playing lofted shots. He was taking them on, and the way he was driving, cover drives, on drive, straight drive. What the hell was going on? And then I found out that he actually has been playing for a long time. He's very good.
Yeah, he's good.
And it's the confidence. And you know what I love? Not just his batting style, because he just has talent and he's good. When he scored 50, his reaction was just very plain. He was like, okay, I scored 50, I'm good. And he was just very calm about it. And so I don't even know what to talk about Sundar. So you can comment on this thing. And Sundar, complete Iceman, man. Like, seriously Iceman. Just no nerves. Just nerveless person.
Correct.
Yeah. Can you just comment on both of them? And if you have seen a better seamer as a batsman. Because I've seen Ishant Sharma and Ishant Sharma is batman. That's a seamer. Because he's a seamer. He's not an all-rounder technically. He's supposed to be a seamer.
So, see, I am not... and I think I speak for you as well that we have not seen Kapil Dev bat. So probably maybe he'll be...
Oh yeah, I completely forgot him. But yeah, Kapil Dev. But okay, fair enough. Because he did make a lot of runs. But I'm just saying like that's the way. But yeah, Kapil Dev. I'm not going to argue on that because there's no point. It'll sound ridiculous if I just counted Kapil Dev out.
Correct. But I agree that he played really well, and the best part was that he was not just slogging, right? When you see some tail-ender, I mean, not tail-ender, but lower order batsmen, they come in and try to slog like what Siraj was doing or like what Shami does. He was playing proper shots, and I think he didn't want to take chances against Lion. So he, in fact, I was watching the match live that time, and he played a lot of defensive shots as well. So it was not just slogging and proper, as you said, proper cricketing shots. The pull of the number one bowler in Test cricket, that was something really good. He was in total control and it went for 6. I think that was the first ball of his innings. So yeah, the whole confidence thing was there, and never felt in any trouble actually before getting out. And the way he got out, actually he was trying to slog on that delivery, and he got bowled because I think they were like quite safe by that time. So they thought
Also, it was an in cutter, so it was. I would say it was not completely slogging, but it was an in cutter, and also the way when he get out, right? You know how people overreact and then look at the wickets, like how did this happen?
Yeah.
He got bowled. He can hear the goddamn stumps flying. He just keeps walking.
And
no reaction.
Talking about Sundar, yeah, I mean, same. I think he just continued what Ashwin started. Ashwin also got hit a lot. Sundar also got hit couple of times. Once he got hit on the shoulder, and he didn't even show any kind of reaction. He just walked away, ice cold, and the commentators were like, "Whoa, who is this guy?"
I know, he was almost bowled right by that ball. He was not even looking at the ball.
Yeah, correct, that ball. Yeah. And then the no look six. Oh, that was something.
Everybody's saying no look six.
No look
and they
six.
said some guy, Andrew, somebody, he plays that shot. He's like, he's been following this guy from BBL.
Yeah, so
he's like, all right.
Yeah,
chill.
Playing it in BBL and playing it in a test match with Nathan Lyon. And by the way, just a side note, this series, Lyon has not taken a lot of wickets, and this has been a problem with I think from last 2-3 series is that Lyon was taking a lot of wickets, and even though our batsmen are not doing so great, but they haven't given many wickets to Lyon, so that is something which I noticed. But yeah, Washington Sundar, we know that he's a good batsman since he plays for RCB, and he is more classical. He can't slog too much, so when he comes for RCB as well, generally he has to slog, and that's why he's not able to make many runs sometimes. But in a test match, there is so much time, right? So yeah, he played really well, played the short ball really well. So yeah, really, really good to see. And Thakur was, Sundar, I knew that he would bat decently, but I didn't know about Thakur. I thought he'll just slog probably. But yeah, both of them really took India out of a deep hole.
Okay. Also, by the way, I've just checked his profile. I just want to confirm. So that Kapil Dev argument goes out of the window. Why? Because he's actually he's a bowler. He's not all-rounder. Correct. He's never listed, and his statistics are really bad also.
Yeah.
So he has averaging 16 in first class. He's always averaging 59 in T20s, but that's just because of this anomaly, because he's not played. He's just he's played 2 innings and he's just been not out both of them. Yeah. But his averages are 16 in first class. So that's not a good average at all. So, but the way he was playing, he looked confident. But I think one thing you can tell with people who are it's that calmness that comes with people. They just stay calm. And that's the same thing. I don't know if you remember when Labuschagne had come in when Steven Smith got injured, and the very first delivery, his helmet was thrown off. But he just picked up his helmet, put it on. He said I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, there is something about this guy. There's some swagger about this guy. Just chewing gum, chewing guy. And he just, after that, he was just completely been just a phenomenal player for the last couple of years. Right. And, Labuschagne, people don't even think about this guy. Is totally taken away Usman Khwaja's spot, because that time when a lot of people were banned and other problems were happening, Usman Khwaja was the only genuine batsman left.
Correct.
Now he can't even find his place in top 25. All right. So, totally impressed by these people. When you were talking about Lyon, I just want to say one thing. Okay, this is a personal shit, and I'm going to bring it up. Now, the deal is, I don't know if you get this feeling how much, but I am now sick of it a little bit, to be very honest. Okay, firstly, I'll agree that Mitchell Starc has not bowled as well as Pat Cummins or Hazelwood. Completely agree. No argument on that. Now, I will say one thing, but what is the problem with all the commentators who are all Shane Warne's friends? Somehow, whenever Mitchell Starc comes out to bowl, they just shit all over him.
Yeah, there's some problem. I have also noticed.
There is some fucking problem, right? And Payne also somehow treats Mitchell Starc as the extra bowler. Okay, now let's just say, okay, I'm going to give you a very good example. Hazelwood and Cummins have bowled very, very well. Okay. Mitchell Starc has not bowled as well. Now, also you have to understand, a lot of time what is happening is people drop catches of Mitchell Starc.
Yeah, correct.
Balls are flying in the gaps. Okay. When the ball goes up in the air, it either gets half chances get dropped off Mitchell Starc a lot of times.
Even today, Sundar's catch was dropped.
Even today also, right. Sundar catch was dropped. Sometimes it's just flying in and he's probably not getting the right field. Twice when he had the plan in place for Rahane, because the way he plays, twice the ball flew from that end. Exact same thing, but he probably did not get his wicket feel. I blame Stark also for that little bit, but when you're so much under the pump, people when Stark doesn't take a wicket in 3 overs, they're like, okay, we'll get Cummins in. But when Cummins doesn't take a wicket in 3 overs, we'll give him another 4 overs. Okay, same with Hazelwood.
Yeah.
But we were not going to do that with Cummins. Now, one problem I had today was when Mitchell Stark's bowls best is when he gets the fucking opening ball. What they've decided is they were still giving me the new ball, but they were like, we'll give you 3 overs because we don't want to make Cummins wait. I'm like, fair enough, because Cummins been bowling well, fair enough, do that. But today, they did not even give him the new ball. And then they made Cummins and Hazelwood bowl to these players, and then they didn't get any wickets. Okay, which is not their fault, which can happen. Now, after that, obviously, now you don't have a choice because now your T is there. Now, after T, you have to get Mitchell Stark in because now Mitchell Stark is like, what the fuck is going on? You don't even give me the new ball. And they're anyway tired, so you have to give it. So they gave him 5 overs straight after that. And you should see the commitment of Mitchell Stark. Every single ball was 90 miles an hour. He was trying to destroy them. Okay. And then he was unlucky. Very first delivery, he'll almost get a wicket and then nothing will happen and then he gets destroyed. Then he will bowl one bad ball and commentators are all over him. Dude, that's exactly how he's bowling. He's bowling 190k in the left arm bowler. Sometimes he pitches a certain way that you were expecting the ball to swing. If the ball doesn't swing, it just goes on the leg side or sometimes just goes on the off side. And as a bowlers, because Shane Warne somehow doesn't care much for him, and then because McGrath is a Shane Warne's favorite, then all the Indians are like, I don't want to call them pansies or anything, but I'm like, they just love Cummins and Hazelwood so much. So people just think like this guy. Now my direct comparison is that can be, subtle. People might not understand that. But I'll give you very statistics. Nobody is shitting all over Nathan Lyon, except Nathan Lyon's averages are 58, which is 0.71. Okay, it's almost 60. Mitchell Stark bowling so badly has 33. Okay, which is not at all bad. He has 11 wickets. He is in the top 5 of the bowlers, including Hazelwood, Cummins, Ashwin and Bumrah, who are the best. And he's one of the only 5 bowlers who have taken more than 10 wickets. So I don't understand why you are shitting all over Mitchell Stark all the time. First of all, you don't give him ball when he's supposed to be bowling at his best. Then you're giving him making him ball from 70 to 80th over.
Yeah.
Why did you get him at that time? Then you tire him, then you get new balls to other people. When we already have a left-hander batsman there,
correct,
at least give him the ball when he dropped the catches off him.
Correct.
And then you blame him. And I'm like, why are you blaming him? I am perfectly fine when people say like Mitchell Stark has not been at his best, fine. But every time a 4 goes on Mitchell Stark, it's Mitchell Stark's fault. Whenever 4 goes on Cummins, oh, what a great shot.
Yeah, I've also noticed it, and it somehow, I don't know, it's like the Virat Kohli situation where if he fails in something, there'll be like headlines and everything, and same goes with I think Stark. And he today, I think after T he bowled really well, and he was really unlucky that he didn't.
I think he was just absolutely on fire. First of all, to be very fair, full disclosure, I really like Mitchell Stark, but I don't want to be unfair. But when I saw him bowling after, I think he was seething. He was just like on fire. I don't know what he was drinking at tea. He was probably drinking cognac. And he came out fire. And when people have been saying, oh, these people will be tired. And that's what I told you, Bikram, that, it's the last test match. They will come out firing because they are fit. And he came out and he was bowling over 90k. Oh my God. But people are not even appreciating that. They will mention it once. But I just feel like a little bit unfairness is coming through because, if you see the stats today, Cummins takes 2 wickets. He's the best bowler. Mitchell Stark takes 2 wickets. Oh, he's shit. Mitchell Stark gave 3.83 and Cummins gave 3.48, which is not much difference, right?
Yeah.
At the end. Plus, considering how Pat Cummins bowls and Mitchell Stark bowls, there will be slight difference anyway. Yeah. Hazelwood obviously bowled very, very well. And at the end of the day, the overs are sound similar because 23 overs by Mitchell Stark, but that only happened because Cummins and Hazelwood not able to take wickets.
Correct.
That's why they were giving more overs to eventually Mitchell Stark because, now you just feel bad that obviously we have to give. And then you keep giving overs to the genius Nathan Lyon, who is not going to take any wickets. He bowled 28 overs. Might as well bowl Cameron King. Or I'm just saying, can you give Mitchell Stark more overs instead of giving Nathan Lyon so many overs in the first place? So, and also, Labuschagne bowled 1 over and he looked pretty good. Yeah. And he's bowling leg spinner. So maybe just give him, because the trouble was, I'm not blaming Nathan Lyon to bowl badly today. It just did not seem to be sometimes it's ripping or it's very difficult for these people. They didn't really find him difficult. So you just don't move him on, because if you realize at one time, Nathan Lyon was practically just bowling for one end.
Yeah.
And it was not even looking lethal. He did not give too many runs, to be fair to him. But my point was that I think the criticism of Mitchell Starc is just overblown.
Yeah.
It's just completely overblown.
Yeah.
And I am just little bit just genuinely pissed off, and I feel, trust me, Mitchell Starc must be pissed off, but his nature, I've noticed that he does not react too much.
Correct.
Even when they drop catches, he's like,
he's smiling. Yeah.
He's like, he's okay.
I think
about
that's
it.
what Shane Warne or someone said, that he needs to be more mad. Sometimes he's like very laid back. I mean, it just, as I think when you said it, I also kind of remembered and know that throughout the test, they just criticize him a lot.
Yeah, this is criticizing. His radar is off, this is off, that is off. Jesus Christ. He took maximum wickets in one-day internationals in the World Cup. Nobody gives a shit. His averages are the best in the one-day international. Still, can we drop Mitchell Starc? I was like, and they were like, who should get the new ball? I think, to be very fair, they should give it to Hazelwood and Cummins. And then they don't take any wickets. And then they're like, there's no criticism of that.
Yeah.
Like, if you get the new ball, so see, Mitchell Starc is supposed to get the new ball with Hazelwood, and then Cummins comes in later.
Yeah, correct.
But when you don't give it to Mitchell Starc and then you don't take wickets, then you should be at least said, right, now that he took the ball and you did not take wicket, so it's fair, right, that you took away the ball from this guy and then you don't take any wickets. So I think the only reason Starc was getting overs was because the other people were not able to get the wickets. And that I don't feel is right. That if his idea is that he should be bowling, he should still go ahead and bowl 5 overs, and instead of taking him off, they need to take Hazelwood off and get Cummins in and let him bowl 5 overs, and then after that, because Cummins can bowl a lot more overs, and Hazelwood and Cummins comes back, and then Nathan Lyon and Labuschagne or Cameron Green, everybody can bowl, and then this guy comes in the 30th to 30 odd overs, and then when the ball starts to reverse swing a little bit, I mean, you should stick to the policy which works. Now they just like trying to fit, whenever the other people are like not able to take wickets or they are tired, then you get Starc in. But not when he is at his best, and that's something I didn't like in this test. It was so visible in this test, and commentators, this is really annoying me right now. And I have total high respect for Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne, but I just feel like it just becomes a bit personal, and I just feel like it's just ridiculous the way because nobody seems to be like shitting all over Lyon, who has done jack nothing, and then suddenly this guy is like he's off the radar. He's one more time I listened to this off the radar shit. I'm just like, dude, this is the fast bowler. When they fast bowl, this is how they bowl. And it's just, he's trying his best. And I think he's been okay. All right. So moving on from there, thunderstorms. There is going to be big thunderstorm tomorrow and another one tomorrow, day after. What do you think is a good target for them, for Australia? Because see, right now, some people who don't know much about cricket, they'll be like, I think we can still win and Australia can be bowled out later. But to be honest, if they had gotten 2 wickets today for 20, fair enough. But right now, the ball is in Australia's court. Australia will come out and throw hammer and tongs and try to get as many runs. And if they go all out, they'll lose some wickets. They will make some runs. If they get 250 and then lead is around 300, I think with the thunderstorm and everything, and also not only thunderstorm take away time, but then they also make the pitch kind of like, bit different and bit uneven, and with the clouds and everything, it just overcast and everything, it just definitely going to help the bowlers, and the lightning cannot strike thrice because now the lightning just struck twice with Shardul Thakur, and this guy is doing it. So I don't know, you can't rely on luck all the time. No, it wasn't completely luck, it was just a lot of determination. But I'm just saying, you can't keep relying on it because Australia... Do you really think that India can still pull off the match in some or the other way?
It will only happen if Australia gives a challenging total and then someone really bats.
They will. You can expect that.
Yeah, they
you
will.
Can definitely expect that.
So, I mean, that's how it is possible because they need to win. Because Australia also needs to win, right? Because it's their home series. Plus, if it remains 1-1, then the trophy remains with India. So, I really think that there is good possibility for India because... we have good batsmen, right? It's just if you see some of the shots,
absolutely.
Rahane. I mean, I'm going to talk about him, but the way he was giving chance, he was twice the ball went into the 4th slip or 3rd slip, and then eventually got out there only. So it's more.
They should get him next time.
Yeah.
They should get the field right, and they will get him, because once he's concerned about the off stump, then if Mitchell, for example, if Mitchell Stark is bowling, or anybody is bowling for that matter, then they can actually bowl one in that corridor which he leaves. But then one they can actually, if for example Stark is bowling, then they can actually have the in cutter, and all three of them have the in cutter capabilities, and then he will be so confused, because that's also his scoring area, right? His scoring opportunity that will actually squeeze him even further. And they already have Pujara, like, you know, on the ropes, that they know that he's not going to, as the commentator correctly said, he's not going to punish them. So they keep bowling that corridor. Eventually one ball will be nicked, right? Because you have to start scoring, otherwise some ball will nick, and they keep bowling that. Sorry, I had to cut you off. So
with Pujara, I think the problem is Pujara is still playing like how he plays. The problem is the other batsmen around him are not scoring, and this is why whenever India won test matches outside, you see Pujara is a good contributor, and then someone with him, either Kohli or most of the time Kohli, so, and maybe sometimes Rahane, they really score around him. So that's his and there have been lot of instances where people have questioned his intent, and this intent is an overused word again and again in cricket.
I don't know.
And in fact, he was even dropped in South Africa, I think, to accommodate Rohit Sharma at number 4 or something like that, I remember. So this has already been addressed a lot of time, that this is how he plays and this is how, but to be really honest, that's his role, and he can score as well, right? I think today in the morning was trying to score, and then eventually got out on a defensive shot. So yeah, I think I would not worry much about Pujara. Obviously he's not scoring runs, but his role is to blunt the bowling, and I think Australians have found a way or found a proper channel to bowl to him, and that's why he's not able to survive, because his thing is to survive, not to score runs. So yeah, coming back to your original question, that can India again pull off? So I don't know how much the rain interruptions will take away from the total number of overs. But
let me give you two options there. Let me give you two options before you say something. Now, unless you've already thought about it, then you can say exactly what you said. So I am considering, and this is because this is exactly how Australia does. Australia will definitely give them a total that can be changed.
Correct.
Okay. Now, I do not know what that kind of total will be. I will give you two options. It could be anything between 350 to 375 or 300 as well. That depending on how much rain is actually taking away the overs. So if its rain is not taking away too many overs, then they might get 350 odd. But if the rains are taking away too much, then they will give around 300. They will not give more than that, because too many overs will be taken away. So India will have, like, let's say 70-80 overs to chase, or 80 overs to chase 300. And also, if anybody is doubting that Australia is not going to be able to make that many runs, forget about it. Because tomorrow David Warner is going to come out, and this guy is going to start smacking everything, everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Steven Smith, everybody's in form. So even if they actually call out with intent, then some of they will get out, but it will be like a Rohit Sharma situation or like Rishabh Pant situation. They will end up getting quick fire 30, 40. One person will get 50, one person will get 5, but eventually they'll end up getting 250, and you add the lead. So they will get the minimum total that they require. So I don't see any concern with that, but all I know is it will be around 300 or could be around 350 to maximum 375, depending on the rain interruptions, which are definitely going to happen, Vikram. And because the thunderstorm comes in, the problem with thunderstorm, it passes, but it drenches everything. And then what I saw on the second day, the umpires are still going to be on the cautious side, which will favor India. So India can also end up getting a total of 250 also, and chase in like 60-70 overs or something like that.
Yeah, so that's why I think that India has a chance, because as I was saying that we have the batsmen. It's just that because I really was banking on Mayank Agarwal coming good today. We have already seen him play really well in Australia, and he's a good batsman, but then he played that shot outside off, and then he got out. But yeah, I mean, I think challenging total will be good for India. They can try to replicate the same blueprint which they did in Sydney. Obviously it didn't work. I mean, did work, but that was an extreme condition. But we have so many attacking batsmen, so I think the challenging score can be targeted. And if they see that too many wickets are falling, then they can get into the shell and try to survive, because there won't be that many overs to survive like how it was in Sydney. So I really feel that because of what happened today, India and we know that Australia will always go for a win. They have to. So I feel that India will also have a good chance. Maybe not a very good chance, maybe, but now, because when the match started we said 80-20, so now I will upgrade it to maybe 30-70, or maybe even 35 or 65. So yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, that's it. That's all because of Australia. I think right now it does not matter whether Saini bowls or not, but I would find it very difficult for Saini to bowl unless something, unless a groin injury was just very minor, because once you have groin injury, it takes time. Also, you're a fast bowler, you're not a spinner. So your groin will be, every time you're bowling, it's going to be extended. Plus, he bowls like really fast. And if he does not bowl fast enough at his speeds, then there's no point bowling because he's just going to get spanked everywhere, because he's not really too much of a swing bowler or anything. So it's going to be very difficult for him. Because see, we're not expecting to get all Australia out anyway and then win the match. That's something, that's just a dream kind of situation. That's not going to happen. What we need to go in there is like try to not let them completely bully you. Because once Australia, let's just say Australia comes out and then they say like, maybe David Warner does not go all out start, and then let's just say they're 80 for 2 and then they realize that, okay, I think it's going to rain, and they're like, okay, let's, throw caution to the wind and start scoring. And then they get in 350, 250 odd, and India is chasing so let's say 287, and then India has 75 overs to bat, and it will get tricky because once after the rain and everything, it just the ball can go up and down.
Plus the
ball can start
outfield
swinging,
will
reverse
also
swinging,
become slow.
Yeah, outfield will be slower, so things will not happen, and then India can buckle down. So I'm still banking the best chance for India is still a draw, because to go after it, because once you start taking few wickets, and in the last match, unless somebody really bothers the hell out of Australia, which can still happen. Aussies will be really, really fired up, and you have to understand Nathan Lyon will be as close to his 400 wicket. Cameron Green probably trying to get 1 wicket. Mitchell Starc is all fired up. Cummins is already great. Hazelwood's taken 5 wickets. So it's going to be one hell of... And if India pulls off a draw also this time, I'm going to be hats off. India wins. I don't even know what to say. Because this is, first of all, this is Gabba, and India, this is there's nothing you can say. With this team, when people are your most experienced bowler is has 2 matches under the belt, and they were saying the amount of wickets Australians have taken, I don't know, some thousands or something, and India has taken 11 or something, I don't know, 12, something like that. It was just crazy, man. It was what the hell is this thing? So yeah, it's they've taken thousands of wickets. So there's this is just crazy stuff. So, but if India wins, it's gonna be there will be some questions asked to Australia what happened. But I think Australia has taken good catches, but but that shit happens. So you can't help it. But those could have changed the direction of the match as well. And yesterday when India dropped Rahane dropped Labuschagne right after Smith got out, that could have actually changed the whole complexion of the match for me.
And that's what I was going to talk about. That remember when the series started, we had a discussion about Rahane, and I said he is someone who will just play one good innings and then he'll not do anything.
He'll make the 30-40. We talked about this. He's a 30-40 guy.
So that he doesn't get thrown out of the team. And that's the problem with the Test team. I feel that there are so many batsmen who just make 30-40. I don't even remember who was the last person who made a big 100, not just 100, 100, 2, 103, apart from Kohli, obviously. I think even Kohli hasn't made a big 100 in recent past.
In India 2020, so it's been very weird. Very weird.
So this is a big problem which I see, and since they all make 20, 30, 40, 50, and Rahane makes a big score, and then the whole series doesn't make much runs, it's very difficult to drop him as well because he's the vice captain. Then Pujara, it gets difficult to drop him as well. So I feel that I'm not saying that drop Pujara or drop Rahane, but I think we need to look at some alternatives as well, because we can't have limited over mentality in a test match, right? And we have too many batsmen who just play shots. On top we have both the current openers, Gill and Rohit Sharma, they both try to attack. Then we have Pujara, who's ultra defensive, and apart from him, everyone else is just going for shots, right? And that's not going. That may help in India. India, anyone can make runs because they have been playing here all their life. But when you go outside, you need players who can take the pressure, play out those 5-6 overs where the bowlers are on top of you, and then try to score runs, like how I think Labuschagne did in the first innings. Obviously, they dropped the catch. And so I just feel that the batting side of things, India really need to rebuild the team. Openers, always have the problem, right? After Virendra Sehwag, barring Virendra Sehwag, we always have a lot of openers coming and going. But in the middle order, and I think we need to really rethink. We need to plan, even if we have to play Rishabh Pant, he has to take more responsibility. He can't just go out and try to score on every delivery. That's what he did today, right? He was just trying to score on every delivery. That's not going to work out all the time. That may work out someday, and that day will be glorious, but then the rest of the days will be just like that. And coming back to Rahane, I think when we won the second test match, he scored 100. He was dropped several times. That's okay. That happens with everyone. But then he's not consistent. That has been my problem. And yesterday he dropped Labuschagne's catch. Imagine if Virat Kohli was there in that situation. He would have dropped Labuschagne's catch, and he got out like how Rahane got out. I mean, it was just brainless cricket, right? When you are edging the ball in the same place twice, what is the need to play again the same shot and getting out at the same direction? If this was Virat Kohli, there would have been so much criticism about him, like how there is criticism for Rohit Sharma right now because he played that shot. But sometimes I feel for players like Rahane or even Pujara or other like Pant. I mean, Pant also gets criticized a lot, but other players, they don't get criticized enough for playing the way they are, right? And Rahane, when we won the second test match, everyone was like, oh, he's greatest captain. Maybe Virat Kohli should not be captain. He should be the captain. But that's what you also said, right? The sample size is very low. How just played 2 test matches by that time. He just captained 2 test matches by that time. And in Sydney, it was just because of that partnership at the end that we were able to save the test match, right? Otherwise, we would have lost that as well. Yes, today also we could have been bowled out for 200, under 200. And so these things actually get glossed over because of these two things which have happened in the third test and the fourth test. And I really feel that we need people who are really consistent, not just consistently making 30-40, but make big hundreds. And that's how you win test matches. You can't win test matches by just making 30-40 runs. So no one talks about Rahane, everyone talks about Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant, anything, but I really feel that Rahane either should become more responsible, because this happened in the first test as well. He made 42 runs and got out. So your number 5 cannot just keep on making these many runs and then everything falls to the lower order. Lower order is already fragile. So yeah, I really feel that this has to be looked up.
All right, fair enough. But I think the major problem with your argument is that you have to understand that everybody has limitations. So the trouble with Rahane, he has limitations. It's like you can't just tell somebody to score runs. Yeah. And the trouble is getting out on this thing, as I'm telling you, those are the scoring areas. If he doesn't even score there, then he'll score like 1 run of 71 deliveries. That is the problem. People have limitations they have limitations.
Yeah,
they just can't do anything else. That's how they are.
Yeah, that I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that we probably need to look beyond Rahane now, because he's limited in.
But everybody loves Rahane. Everybody loves Raymond, and everybody loves Rahane.
Now he's the best captain in the world. So yeah,
best captain in the world, best thing everything. By the way, I also noticed a stat that I was checking who the best scorers are. Obviously, And I just found out Mitchell Starc has scored more runs and better averages than Vihari, Agarwal and all these batsmen. It's just crazy. And people are not criticizing. And one thing, Cummins is supposed to be a good batsman, right? Cummins has had a horror series with bat. He's scoring at 6.6 and Mitchell Starc is scoring at 26.6. Okay, so this is like, it's crazy, but nobody's actually talking about it. By the way, Pujara is supposed to be the great batsman, right? But sorry, as I said, this guy Mitchell Starc is scoring at 27 approximately, and Pujara is scoring at 31. So there's not much difference. But Mitchell Starc is the worst thing, and Pujara is so amazing. He just takes a lot of deliveries, but that's how his strike rate is only 29.98. It's cool. He's so amazing. He scored only one half century, but that's okay. Steven Smith was the worst batsman in the first two matches. He's already gone the top two. He scored more runs than Rahane.
Because no one is scoring any runs. No one, in both the teams.
No one's scoring any runs.
No one is scoring any runs.
It's just like crazy.
Yeah, it's just the two of them, Labuschagne and Steve Smith, and on the Indian side, just everyone just scores 30-40. And that somehow...
Yeah, that's my point, right? Even after Steven Smith missed out completely on two matches, he's still like number 2 in the entire list. That's how if he hadn't gotten out a couple of times, he would have been number 1 also if Labuschagne's catch was taken.
Correct.
That's how bad this stuff
he's
is.
So lucky.
Because that's how great Steven Smith is. Yeah. So that's the deal with, like, see, we can't compare because there are certain limitations. He does not want to get out at that time, but he is one person who's never really set.
Yeah.
He's just never set. You can get him out anytime.
And that's the problem.
And there are some people who will always be like that.
That's the problem.
And you can't. So I agree with you that they need somebody else, but somebody needs to step up. Maybe Shardul Thakur. So who knows? So becomes the greatest batsman in the entire history. So all right, we are already at 45 odd minute mark. So we'll just not extend it too much. And let's see. I am saying like target will depend from 250 to 350 in that range. It could be lower also. I won't be surprised if there's very less overs to go. And I think Australia will go all out. But the way India has shown resilience, as long as they come out positive and try to play and whatever, it'll be okay. And then see the situation and then, buckle down just the way they did in the third test. They're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And Australia, I think the onus is now on Australia because I can tell you there will be thunderstorms and a lot of time will be wasted.
Correct.
And because umpires are a bit conservative with everything, I think it will be very difficult. But Australia will try to put out the total and they will watch. And if David Warner does not get out, they will probably end up getting it much, much quicker than you would think.
Yeah.
And then it's upon India completely. And boy, it's going to be difficult. But then India can also pull off a victory. So that will be there and anything is possible right now. Yeah. So let's see, fingers crossed on our Monday and Tuesday. This is going to be great, Monday and Tuesday. So let's see, just before the Republic Day, something good can happen. So let's see, fingers crossed. So anything, that's all. So anybody still watching it, made it till 45 minutes. So you can also probably like and subscribe if you have not already. If you have already done it, then you can actually tell your pet elephants, giraffe, koalas and crocodiles, mothers, grandmothers, we don't even care if they're dead or alive as long as they're subscribed. No, that rhymes. Dead or alive, they're subscribed. So yeah, that's fine. All right. So this is, I didn't say this earlier, but this is Gav and this is Big and Bikram, Gaurav. So all right, take care. Have a good evening. Have a good Monday. I think this will be there on Monday, I suppose. So yeah, Monday. Take care. And by the time, probably things will be much more clear and there'll be more clouds should also be clear by that time. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.